A minority police officers union in Fort Worth is flat out calling for the police chief in Fort Worth to be fired. This request is rooted in several complaints of racial harassment and a final report on those complaints that was issued today. Fox 4's Brandon Todd is in Fort Worth with more on why the officers are so mad. Brandon.
Right, Steve. Of course, this week we've seen a report that alleges racial harassment. We've seen the police chief apologize several times for that, but that apology seems to be falling on deaf ears. A strong and clear message from the Fort Worth Black Law Enforcement Officers Association, calling for Chief Jeffrey Halstead to be fired. The vote of no confidence follows the Coleman and Associates independent investigation into allegations of racial harassment. While the summary report found no substantial evidence of racial discrimination, the final report released Friday found that in one complaint, the challenges presented by the conflict between both parties showed repeated evidence that race was at the core of the differences. Chief Halstead has declined any interviews with Fox 4 to talk about this. On Wednesday, after a summary of the report became public, he posted a 5-minute apology to the department on YouTube.
It was very apparent within the report that even I made some very poor judgment decisions, and I have apologized to any and everyone that I have hurt.
Sergeant Hudson said the mea culpa is not enough to fix the intimidation tactics he says the chief used on him and 2 other officers.
Being called internal affairs, in general, it's an intimidating, scary situation to be in, especially.
But in a statement released Friday, Chief Halstead seemed to indicate that he has tried to mend race relations with the minority officers' unions, but they did not accept his olive branch. It would mean the world to me if the executive board of the BPOA reached out to me and expressed a desire to work these issues out directly with me. If I am not invited to a board meeting, I simply do not have an opportunity to build a relationship and work on these issues as a team. Echoing that sentiment is Officer John Choice, in charge of recruiting Fort Worth minority officer candidates. He says historically they've had racial disparity in the department.
But I'll be the first to say this was before the chief got here, and it's continued. And those issues, I believe, are being addressed.
Choice, himself a member of the Fort Worth Black Law Enforcement Officers Association, says despite the complaints that were the focus of the independent investigation, things are improving.
I believe that the chief is the man to address those issues. He's made steps in the right direction, especially in regards to the way we recruit.
Sergeant Hudson, though, says their meetings are open to everyone, including the chief. And as for the chief's effort to meet, Hudson says it's too little, too late.
We had a chief who took action against us as an association. And we found that offensive, especially when we didn't do anything wrong.
Now, that report also makes several recommendations involving reviewing harassment policies, basically making an effort to communicate and get along a lot better. Steve?
Brenda, as you know, chiefs of police and the relationship with the police union is always kind of tenuous. So how far up did this request go? Did they send the letter for him to resign directly to him? Did they send it to the mayor? Who all knows about this and who has the letter in hand?
Right, they did send it to the chief and city management as well. The chief received it but did not comment directly on it. The city manager also received the memo, and we were told that after the city manager read it, the city manager also did not want to comment tonight. Steve?
Okay, it's not done. We'll see where this goes. Brandon Todd, live in Fort Worth. Thank you.